a BlackBerry smartphone in 2023. Can you imagine that? Probably not, to be honest, because you either have an iPhone or an Android phone here in 2023. But yes, if something changed in the past, you could have a BlackBerry today. Young people may not know BlackBerry, but BlackBerry was a company that had a lot of success in the 90s and the beginning of the 2000s. At that time, BlackBerry created the BlackBerry phone, a phone that became famous for its QWERTY keyboard. A lot of people loved the BlackBerry because it had its keyboard that was easier to type than the other keyboards we had at the market at that time. Everything was going very well with BlackBerry, but its glorious days lasted till Apple launched the iPhone in 2007. Apple said that in that day they were reinventing the phone. The iPhone came with revolutionary ideas for that time. The iPhone didn't have a physical keyboard like most cell phones at that time. They had instead a digital keyboard like the ones we know today. Apple introduced the smartphone concept, a cell phone that would be used to more than just making calls. Apple said that the iPhone would be 3 products in one: an MP3 player, a phone, a device that had access to the internet. Everyone was amazed with the iPhone. BlackBerry still thought that cell phones shouldn't have access to the internet because it would consume a lot of battery. Actually, in 1997, 10 years before iPhone's launch, an engineer from BlackBerry told the CEO of BlackBerry that the cell phone could have an internet browser, but the CEO didn't agree with that. He said that the BlackBerry shouldn't have access to the internet. It should only send emails, make calls, and other tasks, because it would drain the phone's battery, basically. Apple created a phone that had access to the internet, could be used with your fingers. That's amazing. BlackBerry kept their physical keyboards because they thought that the users wouldn't adapt to a finger device, like a device that could be controlled by the finger. And the rest is history. We know what happened. Users adapt to the smartphone concept, and BlackBerry just fell and disappeared from the market. But the lesson we can learn from this experience is that we need to rethink. Not everything will remain the same with the passing of the time. To be honest, most things would change with the passing of the time, except good music. Their biggest mistake was not testing new possibilities. And sometimes we are like BlackBerry. We think we know everything. The truth is, we don't know everything. The one who thinks he knows everything is the one that knows the least. We need to be open-minded. We need to test new things. We need to experiment. That's why we are here. We are here to have experiences. We are here to open our minds to new possibilities, to learn new things and develop ourselves. They were 10 years ahead of every company, 10 years ahead of Apple, 10 years ahead of any other cell phone company, because they had the idea of putting an internet browser in their cell phones, but it didn't. And that's why today you could have a BlackBerry, but you have an iPhone or an Android phone. We live in a super accelerated world. Things become obsolete so fast. The last phone is not the last phone. Like 6 months ago, it was the best phone in the world. 6 months later, it is not. It is obsolete. Every year, your phone becomes obsolete. So you should be thinking of upgrading your thoughts, because it can become obsolete. Your thoughts can become irrelevant those days. You can be an irrelevant person those days. You need to update yourself. Or you can end like BlackBerry. That's why you don't have a BlackBerry. You have either an Android phone or an iPhone.